Well, I'm actually into today's video. We're going to have a look at the long range update from the JMA model today. It's updated as it does for every Friday for the month ahead from Japan. So we'll have a look at the charts on that in a moment. Also going to have a look at today's rain. We've got some heavy rain coming up from the south, and we'll have a look at bank holiday weekend. So a lot going on. But before I get on with the forecast, just want to mention the advertising. Of course, there's video ads on my pages at gazweathers.com. If you press play on the video ads, you'll be supporting gazweathers.com. And thanks very much for doing that. It helps pay for the website, allows me to sit here and talk to you via the website. So thanks so much for getting involved and doing that. So this is the radar picture from this morning from the UK Met Office. This was at 10:30. Swept with heavy rain coming up from northern France into towards the Channel through central southern parts of England and pushing northwards. That's going to carry on northwards through the course of the rest of the morning into the afternoon. Here's the high resolution Euro 4 precipitation forecast from the website Weather Online. You can find a link to Weather Online on my links page. This is how it's seeing things at midday, with quite a lot of heavy rain there across southern England in towards the Midlands on up towards Lincolnshire. Not too bad in the far southeast and for East Anglia. You just about miss it there, but I think further west, yeah, quite a wet sort of spell setting up. That pushes northwards and gets more extensive across the northern England through the course this afternoon. Some really heavy rain possible across northern England this afternoon. Could be hail and thunder mixed in with that as well. It stretches down into towards central southern parts of England even at 6 o'clock this evening, so quite a wet spell for central southern England. And that rain pushing on up towards southern Scotland as well as we get through towards the end of the afternoon. And then going on into tonight, the rain really sets in over Scotland, pushing back in towards Northern Ireland. Another belt of rain coming up to the southwest around quite a deep area of low pressure to the southwest of Ireland. That pushes northwards and eastwards through the course of the night, again giving much of England away as another spell of rain. That will continue out of the way through the course of Saturday morning, and then it's sunshine and showers following in around this area of low pressure down to the southwest, but a very sort of unsettled, changeable spell now setting up, and that's going to last, I think, into next week. So quite an unsettled spell of weather coming up, and it's all sort of starting up today. So let's have a look at the month-ahead forecast from the JMA model, the Japanese model. These are 500 millibar height anomalies broken down into weekly periods. Blue colours indicating we've got below average heights, that's low pressure. Yellow, orange and red indicating we've got above average heights, that's high pressure. As I say, we're breaking this down into weekly periods. So the first week will be taking us from the 24th to the 1st of May, the week that we're currently in. Thoughts definitely now beginning to turn to May, towards May, and what may be happening. British Isles is just here upside down, but it's quite easy to see what's happening because we're under a trough of low pressure. Got those blue colours right over the country. High pressure blocking things out up to the north of the country, so that's quite a cool and unsettled scenario. The jet stream is going south around that trough of low pressure, so we're on the cool side of the jet, and the trough of low pressure is not going to be inspiring, particularly it's going to be quite unsettled, and that's sort of the pattern that we're in this weekend and going on into next week. So I think that's a pretty good representation of where we are for the coming week. What happens is going to the second week, and the second week takes us from the 1st to the 8th of May, so basically through the first week of May, where we lose a lot of that blocking up to the north, and we start to push the trough, the low pressure, to the north. So signs that it's beginning to lift out there. A little bit of high pressure made with those yellow colours actually coming back to the south and the southeast of the country. So the jet stream's going north through the first week of May. It's still relatively unsettled, to be honest, but it's not as bad as the last week of April. It's not as bad as that first weekly period. Nevertheless, it's still relatively unsettled, particularly to the north, where it will be mostly unsettled. To the south, I think you do get some drier and warmer conditions at times. Going through to the 3rd and the 4th weeks, which takes us from the 8th to 22nd of May. Well, it's not that good really. The trough of low pressure is actually coming back and deepening again through that final 2 weekly period. So I think we basically say showers or longer spells of rain there going through much of the 2nd and 3rd weeks of May. The jet stream probably going southwards again around that trough of low pressure as well. So that's quite a cool, unsettled looking signal for May. To be honest, it's not a particularly good signal for May. Maybe a little bit better early on in the month for the south, but overall quite a changeable and relatively cool month would be expected on that sort of the scenario. So not particularly inspiring conditions from the Japanese model for May, I have to say. Let's have a look at the CFS model. This is from the website weatherweb.net. You can find a link to WeatherWeb on my links page. This is the city temperature forecast for the next month, so taking us from the end of April into the start of the June, actually, with this. And we can see that overall temperatures are going to be hovering around where they should be for the time of year. We go down and we pick up a little bit, but once you average it all out, I think we would be probably coming out nearer to normal. So maybe a cooler month than we've been used to in May. We've been having an anomaly, running an anomaly, temperature anomaly, around 2 degrees, over 2 degrees above average since December. If this is right, I think we're probably looking at something a little bit cooler for May. But eventually, as we get through towards the end of the month, this is 26, just here, we do see the first signs perhaps of a warm-up, really pushing the temperatures up there, going above 20 degrees, perhaps right at the end of May, and going on into the start of June. So maybe the first signs, but our first little mini heat wave could occur sometime at the very end of May into the start of June. But overall, it's looking like a more average, typical type May, and there is actually the prospect of some frosty conditions there through the first week of May, and then again perhaps around the middle of the month. So averaging it all out, yeah, I think would be very close to the May average, really, with that sort of temperature anomaly for the city of Birmingham. This is the 500 millimile height anomaly that it's seeing for the coming month. This takes us from the 24th of April to the 24th of May, I think. The model is seeing a trough of low pressure being placed to the southwest of the country, lots of blocking up to the north of the country. The jet stream going southwards, really underneath that blocking area of high pressure, so underneath the trough of low pressure, I should say, but it's the blocking area of high pressure over Greenland that's pushed everything south, to be honest. So anyway, that's quite an unsettled, sort of coolish signal for May. Once again, I'm not sure it's going to be that bad. I don't think May is going to come out particularly cold, but I think it will perhaps be a little bit closer to normal than we've had through 2014 so far in terms of that temperature anomaly. Having said that, I thought that was likely in April. I did think April would be coming out to closer to normal, and it hasn't. It's going to be another very, very warm month. So obviously these long-range charts are all experimental and not to be relied upon. It could well turn out that May is another very warm month. But on the basis of the evidence that we're looking at this morning, yeah, it looks like May should be closer to what you would expect in a typical sort of May in the British Isles. Finally, have a look at the generic charts for the bank holiday weekend. This is how we go into Thursday, the 1st of May, with a trough of low pressure exiting the country, moving away to the east, and eventually that low pressure pulls in a northerly wind as we go through to Friday the 2nd of May. The models have sort of been hinting at this idea that we get some sort of northerly later next week. It's being pushed back, pushed back and pushed back, but GFS this morning is seeing it for Friday. Whether this northerly wind ever actually comes off, we're going to have to wait and see. It's certainly being pushed back from the middle of the week to the latter part of the week next week. But anyway, there we are on the 2nd of May, and pulling in this northerly wind with a ridge of high pressure out to the northwest of the country. Going through to the bank holiday weekend, high pressure tries to get in from the southwest, but this area of low pressure is sort of a spoiler as we go through to Sunday the 4th of May. Actually, we bring that low pressure through across the country. We'll bring an area of rain, and temperatures would be pretty cool. Bank holiday Monday, well, we're in a northerly flow again, so it's cool, perhaps not particularly wet, but it's certainly cool and showery. And beyond that, we keep it quite unsettled actually, with low pressure around the country. This area of high pressure continues to block away to the north and the northwest. That's the GFS model. It's probably a bit over top with its cool sort of idea this morning. Here's the ECMWF for Monday, bank holiday Monday the 5th of May. It's not as bad as the GFS, it's not as cool, but it's still relatively unsettled actually. You've got high pressure to the southwest, but bringing another trough of low pressure through across the country. If we go back a few days, do we get that northerly with the ECMWF? Well, we pushed the trough through on Thursday the 1st, but no, we don't really get the northerly. Actually, it's over Scandinavia with that northerly wind. Nevertheless, it is cooler as we start May, and that high pressure topples in over the bank holiday weekend. So we end up bringing this trough of low pressure through on Monday, the 5th of May, Bank Holiday Monday. So it could be a relatively unsettled Bank Holiday Monday. That's how charts looking at the moment. Probably not as bad as the GFS, but relatively cool, relatively unsettled Bank Holiday weekend. I mean, overall prospects for May, probably a cooler and more sort of typical type month than we've been used to, but as I say, I thought that would happen in April, and April is turning out to be another very warm month. So these long range ones always come with a huge health warning. That's it for now. Thanks for watching the video. We're going to be doing weekend broadcast tomorrow, so come back for that. That's all for now. Thanks for watching.